in the area here in the Tulsa Metro this morning, but where I'm really monitoring is just off right along the Oklahoma-Arkansas line. We're starting to see some of that pink transitioning this morning. Now, it's really fine in nature, but some of that, even the slightest bit of freezing rain, can cause treacherous conditions, not only for walking, but for driving. So we're keeping a close watch on things. The bulk of this won't be arriving until tomorrow's storm system. So that's what we're keeping a close watch on for you at this time. We're not dealing with that precipitation. We are dealing with some low-hanging clouds, kind of an eerie setup right there. Looking out, use our Brookside camera. This is all part of Wade's RV Weather Camera Network. 35 right now for the Tulsa Metro, but notice Tahlequah at 32. So easily that precipitation, if any heavier amounts do arrive, would likely be falling in the form of some freezing rain at this time. So we're going to keep a close watch and we'll bring you those hourly updates as we go throughout this morning. Northeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Good news, we'll get this precipitation out of here. Not going to see a whole lot of sun for today, folks, but we will see round 2 arriving later on tonight. And that's going to be the ones creating more concern for some travel impacts, especially northwest of Tulsa. We'll dive more into what you can anticipate in the latest updates on any snowfall potential, how much we're looking at, and of course, yes, how much ice we're looking at. It's currently 35 right now. That northwesterly wind is with us and it's remaining fairly calm, so some areas of patchy fog will be possible. Look at these temperatures right now. Tahlequah has dropped to about 32 and even staying at that 32. So if we do see some precipitation starting to redevelop, we would see that in the form of some wintry mix for those locations closer to the Oklahoma-Arkansas line this morning. Temperatures in the meantime really hovering right around that freezing line, which is making this forecast very tricky. As we head into the afternoon, we're going to be in those upper 30s. That's it. We had a high yesterday of 41, so we're going to be struggling again. So have that coat ready to go this morning. Those northerly winds will pick up, so it's going to keep our feels-like temperatures right at or below freezing for most of the day today. So keep that in mind as you're preparing on what you need to get the kids ready for, what you need to grab as you're headed out the door. Wind gusts upward of about 20 miles per hour as we're taking a live look again. Traffic moving along. Again, we're not dealing with that precipitation, but you can see those wet roadways. So we're keeping a close watch on those temperatures. That's the big story. Round 2 will be arriving later tonight, and that will create more concerns for weather impacts tomorrow. We'll dive more into that coming up in the full forecast along that area. So if you are over towards the Tahlequah area extending back towards Fayetteville, Fort Smith, that's where we're seeing some of that transition this morning. The rest of us, some light drizzle in the area. As you can see right along Stigler up towards Sallisaw getting a little bit more of a light drizzle coming your location. Taking back up to the Tulsa Metro, similar story. Bixby getting in on some light precipitation this morning as we are getting this day started. So thankfully, as the system is departing, it's not bringing in any widespread concerns for any wintry weather in the area. As we're looking at that 24-hour rainfall totals, very impressive. How about this? Sallisaw, close to 1.5 inches of rainfall. Really saw the impacts, the higher impacts along I-40 and south, closer to about 1 inch, closer to McAllister here in Tulsa. We got about 1/10 of an inch in terms of that precipitation with that rainfall. How much more are we looking at for this morning? Not a whole lot. It's really going to be confined further to the south as we're looking at closer to 1/10 of an inch for Stigler, maybe 2/10 down towards Poteau. Temperatures right now, few degrees above freezing, and that has been the key player this morning. 32 over towards Tahlequah, and that is why we're concerned for any redevelopment. If that was the case, we would see that in the form of some freezing rain in your location. Right now, that precipitation is very light, so great news there. But if anything starts or any higher bands like to come into those locations this morning, that could create some different alternatives. Looking at what we're seeing on radar, we're not quite done. We're going to wrap this up, though, this morning as we do see some transition. By the time this does make its way out of here by 10, 11 o'clock, it's likely to see our temperatures into those mid to upper 30s. So that would be in the form of some rain. We're going to hold on to that cloud coverage by the afternoon. As we look at those temperatures, again, hanging in those 30s by the afternoon, not climbing above a feels like of 32. So make sure that you have your rain coat with you for today. 38 for Tulsa for your high, 36 up towards Bartlesville. So we will be cooler than we were yesterday at the high 41. Temperatures likely drop to about 32, and that's still going to create those concerns of that freezing line of who will see what precipitation that will be arriving later tonight and into tomorrow. Rainfall in the last 24 hours is so impressive with those totals, especially some rumbles of thunder. We have some thunderstorms in the area. Thankfully, no severe threats. Dealing with some light drizzle Now over towards Sallisaw, back up here for the Tulsa Metro. This is rain just to the south, so Bixby waking up Sapulpa with some light drizzle in your location this morning. Here for Tulsa, we're getting a break in that precipitation at this time. We're going to continue with some chances in this morning, isolated at best. Some mixing could be occurring. We'll talk about where I'm seeing this coming up, as well as these temperatures. Look at this. We're not going to climb above those upper 30s for today. Feels like temperatures struggling around 32, so we're going to be staying right around freezing. Definitely have the coats ready to go. We'll talk about round 2, when that will be arriving, and what wintry weather we'll be facing here locally, all in the full forecast. Question, ask a meteorologist. Great timing on this one. How much freezing rain does it take to cause damage? Now, this came in from Stacy. Now, Stacy, it doesn't take much to make area roadways become slick and walking to potentially become treacherous. Now, once you reach 1/4 of an inch of ice, which some areas could even tomorrow, it can cause power outages, it can cause tree damage, it can cause hazardous driving conditions. I'll let you know where I'm seeing some of this ice likely to form, where we could see the highest amounts coming up in the full forecast.
Anything.
We have the winter storm warning in that pink, so that's where we're really seeing the impacts from this winter storm will be arriving for tomorrow. I want to talk about all of the different precipitation on the table because we have it all. Snow, wintry mix, some freezing rain, as well as some cold rain further to the south. Now, these impacts for the winter weather, likely there will be some adjustments as we go throughout the day today, as there is a fine line with those temperatures, and we're really honing in on that, and that's going to be the most crucial part. Now, what we're looking at for the afternoon would be a little bit higher increased opportunity for some snow chances further north. And then further south, we're looking at light wintry mix, light snowfall in the area. Not seeing anything like what we had in January where we saw 6 inches. That's not going to be the case this time around. Isolated showers, rain showers further to the south. So unfortunately, we're not going to see any of that snowfall if you're hoping for it, but it'll be close by. You just have to go a little bit further north. What we're looking at for tomorrow morning will be some showers initially. Temperatures will start to drop as we go throughout the morning hours, and that'll allow for that transition. So I do anticipate more time needed out the door tomorrow morning versus this morning, as we will be dealing with the bulk of this precipitation as we are dealing with that morning commute. Now, some of this will be transitioning over to some wintry mix, and then some snowfall wrapping around as we go throughout the afternoon hours, as you just saw. And that will continue to drop south, where this model wants to continue lifting it north. But given that northerly flow, this will be dropping southward, and we will be seeing some of those snowflakes in later on in the morning and into the afternoon. Clouds will be with us not only for today, but into tomorrow, so prepare yourselves for that. 32 for your overnight low here for Tulsa, so that's where we're going to see that transition starting to develop. Again, further south, you're looking at mid-30s, some upper 30s, so that's where you're going to see that cold rain. But that transition will likely start to take place early in the morning, again, right in time for that morning commute. So I do expect some hazardous conditions out the door tomorrow. What we're looking at in terms of that snowfall potential, a dusting possible, less than an inch here for Tulsa. Areas north Bartlesville, 1 to 2 inches. And then further north, extending it towards Independence, you're looking at 2 to 4 inches is what we're seeing right now. Ice potential still looking not that great, as you can see, closer to 1/4 of an inch potentially, which would create some concern for downed trees, power outages, Bartlesville up to Coffeyville, down towards Stillwater. A glaze, even 1/10 of an inch, which is still not great. That could potentially be here for Tulsa tomorrow morning. Again, allow that extra time. As we do see your Wednesday night to Thursday morning, I do want to point out that 16-degree temperature. We do have northerly winds that will be feeling like those single digits, so prepare for this cold to be sticking around. But thankfully, Valentine's Day warming up those hearts just in time.